Taking a critical look at gaming, technology, and pop culture, this is Augmented Reality, presented by the Triple S League. Check out our YouTube channel for game guides, reviews, comedy videos, and much more. We also do music videos, and actually we just finished up a major project that we were doing with a musician. He did a cover, which I'm sure a small percentage of you are familiar with and probably are mild fans of the song, and we got to do a video for it, so keep an eye out for that. We'll be posting all about it soon. I'm here with Cybsidian, as always.
Hello.
And my name is Asheninity. So I'm at my mom's place this weekend for Easter dinner, and there's an egg hunt for the kids, of course.
Yep.
But for the adults, she's hidden shot glasses, or shots, actually. These prepackaged shots. Have you seen these?
I was thinking that she's actually hidden like actual shot glasses with an actual shot in it in and around certain places, and the kids are like, "Hey, this looks like a weird Easter egg."
Yummy juice. Yeah, no, they're these prepackaged shot glasses. There's like plastic over the top, so it's sealed.
Yeah.
And but there's a divider in it, so whatever you're drinking mixes as you drink it. So anyway, my 4-year-old comes running up to me. She's like, "Here, Daddy, this is for you. I found it in the egg hunt." I was like, okay. It's like one half is bright blue, and I can't remember what the other half is. I was like, so what on earth is this? And my wife takes one look at it. Oh, that's a porn star. I was like, it's a what now? What am I holding in my hand? My brother-in-law, who's carving the turkey about 3 feet away, just whips around, eyes wide, like, what are we talking about now? She's like, yeah, that's a porn star. It's whatever. This really sour drink, and I'm like, whatever, I'm not having this, especially now that I know what it's called. But no, I don't do shots, right? And neither did anyone else in my family till my sister started dating a Russian guy, and now suddenly everybody's doing shots at every family thing, except me. But whatever, porn star, like what the hell is that? Yeah, we got some interesting stuff to talk about this week. We've got some, perhaps not on the level of news, but we've got some interesting rumors that have been cropping up. So there's been some rumors cropping up about the next Bethesda game, and if it's going to incorporate a multiplayer component to it. Now, Bethesda, of course, and we're talking about in-house Bethesda developed game now. Bethesda's in-house studio is, of course, the studio that developed Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and all of the Elder Scrolls games. So they do these massive open world games, which are single player, of course. I'm going to let Cyb jump in here and talk about what's been circulating as far as news about them potentially putting out a multiplayer game.
Well, okay, so there's a couple things to cover here, and we also need to give a shout out to Mr. Matty, who originally broke this news. He made a video on it on the 19th here. So first of all, Bethesda Studios opened up another studio and has been doing a lot more work on a lot more games than they have normally done. They've had some really good successes, so they're expanding. There is an ad for a senior core tech engineer that came out just relatively recently here, and this is for their main studio, for the one that Todd Howard and all of the work on the Fallout and Skyrim games centers around. So this is where we know that the next Elder Scrolls and the next Fallout game are specifically made from. So because of this position posting in this particular studio, it's kind of like just putting two and two together. In this particular case, what they're looking for is somebody who specifically has skills in creating and establishing multiplayer environments. Now, this could be a few things. It might be for like online connectivity, better communicating with friends, or integration with kind of a better chat system. There's lots of things that this could be for that are not specifically multiplayer. Mm-hmm. And then we also don't know, like, there are many different forms of multiplayer. You've got arenas, you've got, interactionals, you've got MMOs, you've got, MOSAs and MOBAs, like tons of different formats of what people consider online. Looking into this a little bit more, we can actually go back and we look at what Todd Howard said about Fallout 4. And I'm quoting Todd Howard now. Believe it or not, every time we do a game, we design a multiplayer mode just to see what we would do. And then we go, yep, we shouldn't do that. That's an awesome idea, but this is way too distracting from the main thing we want to do, which is kind of a single player thing. We could see ways it would work, but development wise, they're different experience, kind of more or less, end quote. So what he's saying there, to shortcut it, is like they give their games in-house. They give it kind of a multiplayer.
They come up with a treatment for it. They come up with they design a multiplayer mode for all of their games. So they would have designed one for Fallout 4, which is not to say that it got past, pencil to paper stage.
Now that could have been they came up with an arena version of it. Maybe they came and they tried to make it more of like a, kind of like a sandbox MMO kind of thing. And I have it on good authority that they were quite surprised with what the community came up with for a multiplayer version of Skyrim, in which is this system that they're working on right now. They're still working on it. It's still got a long ways to go, and
I hope it comes to special editions sometime soon.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Ultimately, what they're going for is basically creating a system where you can sync up your mods and your mod list and your mod order, and then you can have somebody pop into your game and play with your mods, play with you, and you just run around the map and just have fun. Just two people, one person hosting.
Yeah, we did. We actually did. Just play with your friends kind of thing. We actually did an entire podcast on that. It's more than a year ago now, before Fallout 4 even came out. But that actually is something I hope comes to Skyrim Special Edition, and I hope eventually comes to Fallout 4. That would be a lot of fun. Fallout 4 with friends.
This is where we've gotten some inside info. So the inside info is that they had, and Todd Howard has confirmed this for Fallout 4. They had a working version of a multiplayer for Fallout 4, and it was pretty far along. They had worked on one a little bit for Skyrim at some point. Now, I made some calls and I got kind of a statement, which, if you look at Todd Howard's stuff, is basically a confirmation of what he said before. And that is, if they're going to do a multiplayer version, they're going to smash it out of the park. That is their goal. Which would mean that if they were to launch it now for Skyrim or Fallout 4, it wouldn't go over very well. It wouldn't be a smash out of the park. It would be like, oh, hey, Fallout 4 now has multiplayer, which is what we had heard rumors of that was very close, but apparently got pulled in the last couple of months before the release of it for the Fallout 4. And the reason for that was basically Todd's like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right, and we're going to do it at launch, so that they kind of receive the best and the most amount of praise and the most amount of attention and the most amount of coverage on it at the launch. So this confirms the fact that they have been saying, look, we really need to do some kind of a multiplayer online compatibility something. And now that they've seen what the community has put together and kind of worked on, that maybe has altered their opinions and altered their kind of goals with it. And they're now going, yeah, that could actually work. So expect it with one of their next big games coming up for the Fallout and or Elder Scrolls series, which is why they're hiring for these positions right now.
But we know, or we'd heard reports that their next game is not going to be either Fallout or Elder Scrolls.
No, but one of their new studios is working on their new IP.
The new studios are working on the new IP. Okay.
We know that they're having some new IPs come out. There's a good chance they're going to announce them this year. But in this case, with the information, the data that we have, with the evolution of the game industry, we know and we can expect that the next games will have some format of multiplayer that will be very specifically designed to cater to what people have been asking for, which is not a heavy multiplayer experience, which is a being able to play with your friends multiplayer experience.
Yeah, they don't want an MMO.
Yeah, they've already gone down that route, and it didn't go over very well.
Yeah, we want a game where you can be in this immersive story world, but bring your friends along with you, not just talk about it with them afterward. And I think that would be very neat. And I can't wait to hear about what their new IP is all about. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what they have to say at E3 and QuakeCon and what kinds of things are being revealed there this summer. It's going to be exciting times.
Yeah. So speaking of reworking stuff from the ground up, this brings us to our next big rumor. And it has to do with a game that's been on my list for, a few years. And we are expecting it to come out sometime in 2077. And the game is
Half-Life 3.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, sorry.
That's a joke. We don't expect Cyberpunk to come out in 2077. They have made a reiteration recently where they're promising to, they're not promising, but there's been some information come out that said, yes, it is planned to come out by about 2019. So another 2 years.
Oy.
But we have just received some rumors and some information today that Cyberpunk 2077, all of the work they've done thus far has been scrapped. The game has not been scrapped. We need to clarify this because a couple other people covered this, and the way they kind of stated it was like, oh hey, it's gone, it's not coming out, game's not happening anymore. We're gonna get more The Witcher Wild Hunt stuff, and we're gonna get more expansions.
So
which is not true. So
Cyberpunk 2077 is happening, but what parts of what they've done so far are being scrapped? Because you've got a whole bunch of different parts to that development cycle. You go from your initial concept, into design, and then
Yes. So what happened is they had a new game director come in, and there was some clashes of concepts and, from what I'm hearing, tech, which I'm hearing from more than one game studio right now, which I've been hearing people talk about very recently in a couple other places. And it seems to be that there's some new tech on the field, some new technology on the field that has or promises to revolutionize game development and process and creation. If this is true, then this would explain why a new game developer comes in and basically throws everything out and wants to essentially start over from scrap. Because if a game developer walks in and they look at their list and they look at their time and they say, oh my, we've got 2 years, 3 years to get this game out at our current rate on a current tech, that'll be really close. But if we utilize this new thing that's come out, we can have it, come out at that same time and it'll be better.
So we're talking about some kind of a development tech.
Some kind of a development tech, possibly a new engine, although I haven't heard a lot to do with that. What I think it could be, if some of the rumors are true, it might be a new AI component that is only compatible with certain programs and certain current tech, and it is not super backwards compatible with other engines and stuff like that. So that may have been, or maybe a scripting language. So this is why there's a possibility that that this game was scrapped for the reason of being able to have this new technology be put into it and kind of have it come out that way.
So new tech on the field that might be revolutionizing game development to the point where they're rebuilding a game from the ground up. Have we seen any evidence of this with any other studios?
We have seen a handful of studios start to shift away from something that they had just recently bought and are moving towards something else.
Okay.
So it's like somebody who's bought, last year's model car, and then suddenly they're like, run into the dealer to get the newest thing that came out because there's been a big shift, there's been a big change, or some new tech has come out. That was a really terrible metaphor.
It no longer has a headphone jack.
Something along that line, basically.
Well, it's probably something better than that. If studios
we have honestly, in the tech field, we've honestly been expecting this for quite a while, actually, because it's been quite a while since we have had tech make a good jump. We've had a lot of general things. We've had the steady increase of resolutions.
There's been the typical incremental stuff. Yes, things get better by increments, but no big jumps in. Nothing revolutionary.
Now, some people might say, well, what about VR? VR, not really revolutionary. It's been around for a long time. The technology finally got, good enough to the point where it wasn't making every other person throw up. Again, I don't have any evidence for this, but we know that for a long, long, long time, a lot of companies have been kind of steering away from having kind of an emergent AI system, an AI that can control quests and create content and, have it so that when you play through a game, you don't get this. It's not the same experience twice in a row. The world actually does change quite significantly so that essentially people don't have the same experience ever. There has been that technology, and that technology has been around for a few years, but it never made any major breakthroughs because it was bought up very quickly by one or two studios, and then it was kind of sat on for a while, and then some other issues happened with it. But then the people that created that technology they stepped away because it wasn't going anywhere, but they've been now working on other stuff. And now, from what I've been hearing, their jobs and roles have been changed significantly. So they're no longer in an early development stage. Now they're in a practical implementation stage, which at this point, this might affect, especially for open world games. And this is where Cyberpunk 2077, this is where this kind of ties in with this. There's a very strong possibility that this might be the crossroad. This game, to set them apart, utilizing some kind of new AI system for world interaction, that's a game changer as far as open world goes. That makes an open world game go from amazing to completely mind blown. Everything is different and in good ways. You can make it learn to play to your likes, and the world will then help create what you're doing, especially if you can incorporate mods and tech with it. I mean, there's literally no end to where this technology can go, and we've been waiting for this for a really long time. So really, 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 this might be it, but I'm already getting too close to saying too much that I shouldn't say. So let's drop it there and move on to our next topic.
Okay, well, actually, this kind of ties in because I read an article today about VR and how researchers are experimenting with technology that will actually simulate touch in VR systems. So with virtual reality, we have obviously the sight and sound. That's a no-brainer. We all know how that works. But what about physical objects? What about reaching out and touching a virtual object that's not actually there? They're experimenting with electrical muscle stimulation, which is something that's used in medicine and physiotherapy and stuff. They're experimenting with using very short pulses of electricity, basically, that basically simulate the experience of, reaching out and touching something. Not just feeling the sensation of, oh, my hand is touching a table or whatever, but actually something that stimulates your muscles into contracting. So say if you reach out and touch a wall, your arm is being pushed back while you're trying to push up against the wall.
I'll say what I said the first time I heard about it. Wow, somebody's going to die horribly from this device.
Well, it immediately comes to mind that say you had a full body apparatus of this hooked up to your entire body, so a system that can actually control your muscles. Somebody could actually hack in and actually remote control you. Make you, run down the street and into traffic or something.
This level of stuff. This isn't pushing the boundaries in the good direction. This is saying, hey, let's take something and just try to come up with a nightmare scenario as quickly as possible. It's essentially what it boils down to.
It's essentially building to the world we have in the Surrogates movie with Bruce Willis. Next, they just need the VR systems to actually feed you some food and incorporate, scent emitters, and basically you can live in your VR machine and have a substitute for the actual world.
That's going to end terribly for pretty much everybody. All right, so other interesting news. Goodenough, John Goodenough, has announced recently that he's made a new battery with another partner. I can't remember who his partner has been on this one. But basically, so lithium battery, pretty much what everybody's using right now, works amazingly well over top of the more traditional batteries. There's been a tweak and a change to what they've done, and they've made a new battery that lasts possibly 10 times longer, doesn't explode, which is good, or doesn't have the risk of exploding, I should say, which is really, really good, and also can charge in seconds, which this is really interesting. Now we've had these quick charge tech before, but the newest batteries that more recently got announced, these things are a little bit more upscale than what we're seeing some of the stuff now. So there's definitely some really, really interesting data coming down the road with battery technology, which is great because that is really where we got to push technology in the future. Battery technology is one of the most important things that we have to master if we want to have any chance of going to any other kind of planet. So yeah, really cool though.
One of about 5,000 problems we have to solve.
Yes, but one of many. But this is kind of a.
It's an important one, and better batteries. Who wants that? Nobody's going to invest in better batteries. That was sarcasm. Of course, better batteries are. That's always going to have a place in the market. So John Goodenough was involved in the development of this?
Yeah. He's one of the core inventors of this because
he was the inventor of the lithium-ion battery.
Yes,
but no, it's just impressive because he's 94 years old.
Yeah, he's old, and he's really old, but he's working crazy fast on stuff.
How does a guy get a last name like Goodenough?
I really would be interested to know the backstory there with that one. All right, what else we got? We got one of my favorite characters from video game and animation is now getting a new animation, which is really, really cool. And that is...
Are they finally making the Homestar Runner movie?
No.
You might as well have just stabbed me in the heart there.
They're making a new animation for Carmen Sandiego. I was so happy when I heard this. I was like, really? New Carmen Sandiego? I remember when, I guess it was like early 2000s, they did a kind of an animated one, and I watched that growing up. That one was really cool. I enjoyed that one. It had some of my favorite voice actresses and actors on it too. The Mass Effect Fem Shep, her voice actress did the voice of Ivy in that Carmen Sandiego show. Was one of her early gigs, and really awesome. Love her.
Nice.
Love her and love her voice. Love the work. I'm really happy to see this. I hope that they kind of take it back to that, but we'll see.
I never saw the any of the story base. I never saw the animated series. I loved the game show as a kid, though. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes,
that was great.
I loved that.
I loved the lady who played the chief in that. And then later on, we got Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego, the video game. And oh man, we loved this game, and it had video clips with the chief, and you had to travel to all different places in time and solve puzzles and try and catch Carmen Sandiego. But we figured out at the in the very last part of the game where you're zipping all over the place to these different points in time you've already visited to try and catch Carmen and bring her back to the present. If you go back to the present before catching Carmen Sandiego, you just get these video clips of the chief. Sort of, you kind of catch the chief by surprise that you're already back, and there's some funny video clips. And I just remember the one is where she's sitting there with this plate just piled high with icing sugar covered donuts, and she's like, "What are you doing back here already? Guys, go get no donuts, no donuts until you catch Carmen. Go." Laughed so hard at that.
Yeah, that was that.
She was great. She was great. And then I remember seeing her in Bicentennial Man, and I was like, it's the chief from Carmen Sandiego.
Well, it's so weird that it's one of these shows that nobody kind of renewed.
Oh, it'll probably happen though. It'll probably happen. I was just watching. Now. I was flipping through. Well, it is happening now. But I was flipping through Netflix yesterday, and came across Mystery Science Theater 3000 The Return. There's brand new series. It's like, where did this come from? How did I miss that this was happening? So yeah, sat down and had some serious Mystery Science Theater 3000 time. It was really good.
I'm gonna have to watch it now because I did not know that was out either. The another show from my childhood that I would love to see come back is Secret World of Alex Mack.
Oh yeah,
that would be awesome. So Joss Whedon is doing a new movie.
Who?
Joss Whedon. He's this little known director.
He's this he's
pretty much everything on the planet, which is awesome. He's doing.
He did some movie back in the 80s or 90s called like Buddy the Werewolf Killer or something. It didn't really go anywhere.
I'm pretty sure it was Buffy, Slayer of the Vampires.
The Vampires, right? The Vampires.
Yes, Slayer of the Vampires. That's an inner show reference. 100 points to whoever can pick that one out.
I know exactly who you're talking about. The character that says that. I don't remember his name, but I remember.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers for like a
15-year-old show.
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness. Anyways, so the other thing that's really cool about that is that he's the role that he's doing now is he's doing the Batgirl. So I was like,
Joss Whedon's playing Batgirl. Oh, gotcha.
I was like, this could work.
This is a stretch for him, but he could probably pull it off with the right CG. Anything's possible.
The thing I'm looking forward to the most with this is that maybe I will have a new reason to actually go out and watch a DC comic book movie.
Here's hoping. Oh, and of course, the new Star Wars movie teasers. Well, big teaser. And I am debating with myself whether or not I want to get into watching the teasers and the trailers and get into all the hype, or if I just want to go in blind.
Go blind. I'm going to try and avoid as much of the teasers as I can.
Or maybe they will, maybe they'll pull a Rogue One and everything in the trailers will have nothing to do with the actual movie.
True. They could do that.
It does bug me that Rogue One had, there were so many rewrites that most of the scenes in the trailers, you go watch the honest trailer for it, they highlight all of the scenes that are not in the movie. And some of them look so badass. And it's like, well, it just bugs me that the story wasn't solidified and that the movie, they basically performed hack and slash surgery on the movie before releasing it. And I mean, presumably it was made better, but it's like, well, it just bugs me that the story is so fluid until very late in the production process. Does that bug anybody else? Like, it almost seems...
Yeah, no, I think it does. But again, it's like inside baseball. It's the people who don't know anything about A, the series, B, what the fans want, C, the integration of content to fan for retention and longevity, and then they're also completely devoid of anything recent. Like, I hate hearing about some of these people who get these big yes no say so's in some of the newer especially the Marvel movies. Like, the people giving their input, they have not made anything good for decades. Anything. Why are they getting to say so? Because they're just and that is infuriating.
It's an ongoing problem in game development and in movies and things. People with the money have to have a say, and the people with the ideas don't necessarily have the money, so they need the people with the money, and it just it dilutes the art a little bit. I'll give you that, but at the same time, without those people, we would have, a Star Wars movie made in claymation in somebody's garage, maybe. But
yes, this is true. This is true.
Anyway, this has been Augmented Reality. Thank you so much for listening. On behalf of Obsidian, my name is Ashton Inity. We will talk to you next week. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton when you do that. Check out this video. It's one of our favorite things that we've done so far on our channel. And here's some more stuff you might like. See the description below for links to our mods on Nexus Mods.